Well, it's now early the next morning. I'm having breakfast. Breakfast in Kandy, Sri Lanka. My breakfast ready. Have my fruit. These are called hoppers. Flaky dough basket with scrambled eggs inside. Oh, eggs on rice rather. Very nice view of the rice paddies here. This is inside the Mall of the Emirates in the city of Dubai. This actually is a skier. Right inside the mall. It's now just after sunrise along the Colorado River. So the colors are quite stunning. This is a quite phenomenal building called Burj Al Arab. Built in 1999. Well, this is March 2016. I'm now in Utah. And what we're seeing here are dinosaur tracks about 150 million years ago. My captor gives you the size, indication of how big it was. This dinosaur estimated to be 18 tons, a plant eater. This is now downtown Dubai. And there is the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, 2,700 feet high. And this is right next to it now is the largest shopping mall in the world, the Dubai Mall. Massive place. This is called the Emirates Palace. Big complex of offices.
Yeah, it's okay. And also what I think is,
with the big, huge building as a backdrop. Another view of the Dubai Mall outside. Dubai fountain over here, which is not on at the moment. A big tall building in the background. This is the view out of my veranda of the balcony of the guest house I'm staying in Candy, Colombo. High hills off that distance. This is the Temple of the Tooth. Underneath that gold top building there is supposedly a tooth of the Buddha. Was found when they burned him in 453 BC. In the 400 AD roughly, that tooth is brought here. It's supposedly been housed here off and on for that amount of time. So now taken inside the Tooth Temple. I'm now visiting the Royal Botanical Garden in Peradina in Sri Lanka, south of the city of Kandy, where I'm staying at. Tropical garden. Here's now a fossil of a dinosaur. It's a plant eater. It's about 60 feet long and 20 tons. Here are the fossilized bones of another plant-eating dinosaur, Again, about 60 feet long. And right close by are these fossilized remains of vertebrae of a juvenile plant eater. And here's about a 5-foot long piece of a shoulder blade. There's another place along the river a few miles up. And this is their great lawn. Just like a Bellinggrath, I guess. Mobile, Alabama. Probably about 3-4 acres. Perfectly circular. This is now called Royal Palm Avenue, because these are all royal palms planted along it. This tree is commonly called the cannonball tree, Grupapita genus. Yet another beautiful place up the road. It's only about 41 degrees out here. It's a very neat tree with very unusual bark. It peels off. Strips of bright green. Just came across a colony of monkeys. This is now a view closer up, as far as we're able to get underneath it. In 1991, a 60-foot long piece fell from here. So eventually it's going to collapse completely. Right about there is where it collapsed. There's a small little stream down below, which used to be... I thought these were royal palms, but these are called cabbage palms. Rather nice garden here. This thing here is kind of cool. 2 openings into it. And inside, this is what you see. And now we're up in the famous hill country of Sri Lanka, the tea plantations. Very pretty countryside. Well, here's a very beautiful valley. Probably can see 10 miles away there. Way down below there are terraces, probably rice terraces. There's a pretty good sized waterfall. Inside a tea factory here. Tea processing factory. All bags of tea. Well, this is not a plantation of the Macwoods estate where I just had been inside the processing factory. Across the way there are the hillside is filled with tea plants. Very beautiful view up there on the hillside. $150 million years ago, this is a wet area, low, shallow sea. All that's left is a dry creek bed down there. This is all the area where these bones are. This lady here is making pancakes and some other kind of food here along a roadside stand. So she's frying whatever it is in there. She doesn't speak English, so I can't tell what she's making here. That there appears to be a pancake that she fries over there. Whoops. You speak English? I'm now in the city of Matale at a Hindu temple. This is a village where the tea pickers live. This right here is a Hindu prayer site. Down below here, there are leeks growing.
Yes.
I'm talking to my camera here.
Okay.
And off in the distance here, the tea pickers are just done. And they're bringing their tea to be weighed. They'll be up here in 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
And here come the,
Go to the weight center.
yeah. These are all the tea pickers waiting in line with their boxes, baskets of tea. And they get weighed here. Dump them out. Only women pick tea. They're bagging them up. Ready to go to the mill. They write down how much they weighed. So just ask some women at the end how long it works. They work for 8 hours to pick that bag of tea leaves, probably about 11 to 12, 13 pounds. And they get between, the minimum they get is about $5.50 for 8 hours, equivalent to $5.50 American dollars for 8 hours of work. Not a lot. Well, this place is known as the Horton Plain. It's about 5,000 feet altitude here. It's early in the morning. It's about 6:45 in the morning. It's quite cool. It's only about 48 to 50 degrees. On my way to what's called World's End. These are the fossilized bones of a meat eater about 30 feet long. These are the arm bones. This section here is about 3 feet in width. Walking on the trail here through a eroded valley. It's a nifty tree up here in the sunlight. Well, this is called Little World's End. Drops off about 800 feet to the valley below. Well, this finally is World's End. You can't see it below now, but it drops off 2,500 feet. Clouds are now forming. The warm air off the lowlands rises, condenses, because it's cooling. Afternoon, it's raining here. This is now the view on the way back to the headquarters. It's called Baker's Falls. Here's a fossilized tree trunk, almost 3 feet in diameter. This is all gravel that was formed at the bottom of a stream. The tree trunk fell into it. The tree was about 100 feet tall, I figure. This is the magnificent landscape arch in Arches National Park. 306 feet across. The largest arch in the world. This is now Dead Horse Point State Park in Utah. Way off in a distance there is the Colorado River. In a few miles, it's going to meet the Green River. It's about double its size. The water off in a distance there is salt evaporation ponds. Farther yet in the distance are the La Salle Mountains. Beautiful area here. Great temperature, about 65. Sunny. And we're back to the tea country now. Way off in the distance, there are tea pickers. It's now about 300 yards up the trail. On my way to Double O Arch. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, so the sun is quite beautiful. This is pretty steep to get up here. And way up in the hillside, there are a lot more people picking. It's a little farther up the road now. It's not too many tea plantations across. But there's a nice waterfall here. Well, this place is just up the road from the last waterfall stop, and oh no, here's another big waterfall. Now in the same town here up the road a little bit, this is a Buddhist temple called Aluvihara. And up the mountainside there is a big Buddha. This view is now from up on top of a hill where there's a stupa or a prayer site. Again, up there is there's the Buddha. You can see by the clouds, it's very sultry, probably 75 dew point, pretty miserably hot. Coconut palms. Once again, there's the Buddha. And I was zooming out here to get the big bell. This is now the entrance to the place. Buddha up there on the hillside. I'm now inside a spice garden. They have a lot of collection of spices here, and they sell them as well. This right here is the cinnamon tree. This little one right here. And right next to it here is the vanilla vine. And this right here is vanilla bean. Getting a little private tour here through it. This guy said it's a family business and it's been in business for 1,500 years. What do we have here?
Can you recognize?
Guess what?
What is this?
I recognize the smell. I forgot. I can't remember. Clove. Yeah, I thought cloves. Yeah,
This clove tree.
there's your clove tree here. I'm now heading to an old, ancient Hindu site called Yolanda Gagedi, built between the 5th and 8th centuries AD. It was reconstructed in 1975 from the collapsed stones. Be approaching it soon. And here it is up close. Again, this was rebuilt in 1975 from the stones that were found collapsed in the spot. Originally, it was a Hindu temple and then later used by the Buddhists, they figure. I'm the only one here. What's really fantastic thing about this place is the most incredible wall of moss I have ever seen. And then this is the pagoda. And one last final view. This must be describing it. Hard to read. I'm at a little roadside shack here, rather a food stand rather. This is called jackfruit. It's pretty good. I had some. It comes from a big tree. It's a bit like pineapple, a bit like, I don't know, something else. I'm having him cut me some jackfruit now. Big piece like that's going to be 50 rupees. That's about 30 cents. We have sweet corn here. It's cooking sweet corn in the pot there. Is that your girl? Your daughter? Now I'm across the street from the shop where I just got my jackfruit. It's a restaurant that I just ate at for lunch. At a buffet here. Fish, chicken, all kinds of stuff. $1.75. Now this is the Golden Temple in the city of Dambulla. Kind of a gaudy entrance to the place. Well, now after climbing about 500 steps up this massive rock, we enter into the cave. There are 5 temples inside here, Buddhist temples, built as long ago as 100 years before Christ, and then built thereafter for many years. I'm now inside the second cave. This is an enormous reclining Buddha, probably 30 feet long. The cave is 160 feet long. So I'm walking along one of the walls now. This is one of the end walls. And way off in the distance is the far end. This is now near the far end. These are not Buddhas, but statues of kings. This here is a Buddha. And collecting flowers, flower offerings. There should be another king. This is another back wall. Buddha statues. Here's the place I stayed last night. It's off the road about a couple hundred yards. It's quite peaceful. Lake Leisure Resort. Very misleading. I never saw her. There's a peacock in the background making a racket. So I stayed at one of these places out there. And then this is the dining room. Open to the outside, so lots of bugs here last night. There's breakfast. Here now is a different view about a mile and a half up the road. This is again the Colorado River.
It's a long ways over there.
There's a car way down there at the bottom.
We could take you on that one.
There's a road there, and there was a car.
Doesn't look bad. What do you want?
And down at the bottom, there's a four-wheel drive vehicle. Well, now we're out here in a rice paddy, and the guy is seeding rice there. That's the mother there in the green, and these are her children. They have about 7.5 acres here that they have. I'm now at the UNESCO site of Anuradhapura. A very old site. It was the first capital of what was now Sri Lanka. Started about 300 BC. And the stupa over here is the oldest stupa in the world. Rebuilt to a certain extent in 1862. There's a very nice view right along the highway leading out of the park. This is a better view here from this side. The old tall vertical columns, those are the old original columns. This site is what's called the Moonstone. It's the site of a monastery from the 9th century AD. This is a close-up view of it. There are lots of carvings of animals around the outside of it. But the best place of this is the wall around the outside. Incredibly beautiful moss. Worth the price of admission. This was the site of a 5-story Buddhist temple built in the 2nd century AD. And then it was rebuilt in the 10th century. Since collapsed. Buddhist to begin with, but this figure here is Hindu. A little farther up the road, another nice view along the highway. This is a massive Abhigavira or something like that. Stupa built in the 1st century AD. Was pretty well covered up with vines and vegetation until the 1990s, when UNESCO had uncovered it, covered the original bricks. This baby is big. 200 feet tall up there. This is now the Samadhi Buddha from the 4th century. Well, this is another archaeological site, maybe 15 miles away from the previous one, called Minton Holly. It's a site where the king of Old Ceylon was converted to Buddhism. And up at the top of the hill there where I have to climb is a very large stupa, a prayer site. Well, here's the beginning of the 600 and some steps to climb up to the top. Well, I'm up near the top now, where there's a big Buddha. 25 feet tall. In that area over there, there are several caves. Religious shrines are inside. And up on the hillside there is a big stupa. Probably 80 feet tall or so. Guy out here in a rice paddy with a machine that's working up the ground, it looks like. Starting to pour rain. I have a little girl over here who's holding my umbrella for me. I've stopped along the roadside here. They're building a house here. They're mixing concrete.
Yes.
By hand. They're building a foundation. It's a communal project here. Nobody hires a contractor. Everybody just shares in the work. I'm talking to my camera.
Yes. Where are you from, sir?
From the United States.
United States.
Yeah. There's a nice lady here who speaks good English. Was telling me about it. Did he ever use machines to mix the concrete?
Yes.
But this is all by hand. There's a whole big bunch of people here. There are a lot of people laughing. So the water comes from. So where does the water come from? Do they have a big tank somewhere nearby?
Yes, we have a big tank.
Okay, now all the concrete's been mixed up.
Yes, they are
Put it into
helping.
buckets.
Yeah, help for this. Put it in the bucket.
Oh, I see. And then they hand it from one person to another person. I see.
This one very easy. Like this table very easy.
Easy this way?
Yes, because very heavy. It's very heavy.
Oh, I know. I worked with concrete before, yes.
We are doing like this. We are doing like this. Not feel very tired.
Okay, the lady told me this is going to be a senior center here. Is what they're making. So they're just getting the string is built around the foundation there, so it doesn't split apart when they put concrete in there. So everybody kind of works together here because I guess their parents are going to be using this. This here is a termite mound, about 4.5 feet high. Looks like it's abandoned. They're alongside a road here with elephants. This view is now in Arches National Park. This particular spot is called Park Avenue. This is supposed to remind people of the tall skyscrapers in New York City. It's now early in the morning near my hotel. I'm about a half a mile off the road, the main road. So I'm walking along, checking out the local scene. A lot of little houses. This is now the cemetery in Kandy. There are 200 people buried here. Fought in World War II, primarily in April of 1942 when the Japanese attacked. They figured that Ceylon, Sri Lanka at the time, would have been an impediment to their shipping. Very beautiful cemetery here. There's one American buried here. He was working along with the British Air Force. These are all Sri Lankan troops here. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. What's your name?
There's a lake right nearby here, the hotel that I'm at. It's early in the morning now. Looks like a husband and wife team are fishing. Looks like they're coming in the port here with their catch of the day. Yes, indeed, they're coming in the port here. I walked around the hotel to the road behind the hotel, and they're bringing in a boatload of fish. Or something. Maybe it's grass. It looks more like seaweed. That's what it is. Yes, it was both fish and seaweed that they were collecting. Now they're weighing the fish here. They're butchered right on the spot. People come to buy it. Local fish market. There's a better view of it here. It's actually a courthouse. This is the Royal Palace. It's a building about 100 feet long, 40 feet wide. Used to be originally 5 stories high, they figured. This is the beginning of my hike up to Delicate Arch, one of my favorite places in the world. This is the Wolf Cabin, which was built in the 1880s by a rancher here. So it's a mile and a half up. And Delicate Arch is at the very ridge over there. So it's quite a climb. Close up of the palace now. This is the capital for about 300 or 400 years. And then they moved down south to Kandy, the southern part of the country, for the capital, which was the capital for till about a couple hundred years ago. Then it moved to the present capital of Colombo. And this is a royal bath. Fitting, seeing it's raining pretty hard. Still in Polonnaruwa. This is the quadrangle, a collection of many buildings, Buddhist and Hindu temples. The one just passed there was a Buddhist temple. This is a Hindu temple. Now going through one of the temples. Here's a Hindu temple, obviously made holy by all the moss on it. This is called Ranket Vihara. It's a stupa, which is a Buddhist prayer site. 160 feet high. In the background is a bird. This was originally built of earth or ground, then covered up with bricks. I'm up closer to it. This is pretty big. This is now the city of Kandy, cultural capital of Sri Lanka. Off in the distance there is a big Buddha. At this site now there are 3 carvings in solid rock of Buddha. Off in the distance there are 2. And then there's this one here. So here two are the other two Buddhas. One reclining is about 40 feet long. I'm now the capital city of Colombo. This is a Kingsbury Hotel, 5-star hotel. Lit up at night. Well, this is yet another huge complex of facilities. Big stupa here. 70 feet tall, maybe. There's a big temple back in the trees there. This is a Buddhist monastery, actually. And this is the main building of the monastery. This is now looking in the front of it. It's a bit farther, farther up the trail now. You can see up in the rocks there, all the hikers. Just behind his previous building is this building here. I'm sure originally had a roof on it. It's the main temple again, and then behind it there, or to the right of it, is the stupa, which I saw before. And then here's the side view. Here's the inside of yet another complex. Couple of monkeys running around here. And there it is, Delicate Arch. 75 feet high. And very at the bottom right. Lots of people up here getting close to sunset. This is the view now on the other side of the ridge, the approach. It's getting very close to sunset now, so we're getting some very beautiful pictures. Very deep reds. This is a bush with a very pretty flower. It's right outside my hotel. I'm at the train station now. Go ahead, sir. There I am in the mirror. Go ahead. Are you finished? Yes, that's okay. Getting ready to go to Colombo on the train. It's 6:15. In the background, it's horrible call of prayers from the mosque. It's a three-wheeler, commonly called a tuk-tuk. There's my train at platform number 3. The train goes 60 miles to Colombo. Costs me, I think about $5.50 first class. Now taking a ride in a three-wheeler. They call it tuk-tuk. For about maybe a mile or so, 200 rupees, which is about $1.30. This is now early in the morning, about 6:30 or so. Sun has just come up and I'm getting close to Canyonlands National Park now. So the sun is quite bright on the rocks in the distance. In the foreground, it's a ranch. This is now inside Canyonlands National Park. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Perfectly quiet. Big fish there. Shrimp over there. Mine down there of some sort or another. Mountains coming up. We're inside the fort now. This fort was in the middle 1600s, first developed by the Portuguese, and later 1600s Dutch took it over. Later 1800s the English took it over. This right here is a hospital. There's a village, small town, God-forsaken country. This is the interior street to the fort. A little restaurant here. There's a Buddhist temple amongst the fort. construction site. Mixing concrete inside there. Gravel one side, sand on the other, carrying in by hand. Just a little farther up the road. Magnificent view off in the distance. It's 41 degrees out here now. Continue to drop down in altitude now to the Colorado River, so you're getting deep canyons like this. This is now the north wall, nearest town. The interior of the town there was hit pretty badly by the tsunami of 2004. Lots of people died here. This building used to be a warehouse, and now it's the Archaeological Museum. And here's my hotel about a block away. Probably 1.5 stars, maybe 2. A lot better Christmas lights. The Colorado River is off in a distance there, a couple of miles. There's my shadow. Not a soul around. I just came across a tragedy. There's not going to be any Christmas this year. I just discovered Santa Claus. Dead on a doornail amongst all this trash. Either that or he's just drunk and sleeping it off. This big tree here changes colors quite a bit. There's a mosque here. So now inside the mosque, dozens of pigeons. Here's one of the finer parts of town. Little narrow passageways. A lot of Muslims live around here. You know, might find ISIS boys here hanging out to clothes. How they dry in this incredible heat and humidity is beyond me. Lots of crows around. Almost like being in the core. Little kitty cat. Washing clothes. Semi-open sewer. Oh, nice. Here's a Hindu temple. Behind it to the left, they're building a big tower with a restaurant on it, a revolving restaurant. It'll be 1,000 feet high. These rocks here, you can see the formations hundreds of millions of years ago. These are all made with sand dunes. They were laying in different directions as time went on. Now we're getting mountains with a little bit of snow on them. The rock at the top there is harder, and so it's the rock underneath there is eroding faster than rock on the top. There's actually a very large city. I'm beginning to wonder if this is Tehran, the capital. These rocks here show the tremendous changes over time. As you can see in different layers there. And then at the base, looks almost like it was a muddy area. But there's probably just sand dunes. This is the campground where we were staying in 1969. Again in 1971. I'm somewhat closer to the Needles district. I now drove in a few miles along a dirt road into a very beautiful canyon here. Not a sound. This is now at the end of the road, entering into what's called the Needles district. I finally hear a sound, an annoying airplane. Quite amazing, up at the top is a little tiny tree growing out of solid rock. That art. In this cave here, or this overhang, is a storage area for grain or granary built by the Indians many hundreds of years ago. There's supposedly dozens of these in the park. These are Indian petroglyphs supposedly 2,000 years of printing here, or etchings onto the black surface of this rock. Blackness comes through manganese oxide. I'm now a couple of hours down the road to the south, going towards Arizona. These two rocks, they're called the Navajo Twins. Over there, a couple of 100 yards, is a place called Rocky Rapids. Well, here's a place 5 miles off the highway on a dirt road that I went in. It's called Valley of the Gods. Huge red rock area. No houses. A car way off there in the distance. As far as the eye can see, no buildings. Way off in far distance, about 30 miles away, is Monument Valley, which I'm heading to.
The other iPad's charging in there. It should be at like 20%.
Off in the distance is some very twisted and contorted rock. And over there is a strange formation called Mexican Hat Rock. And on the top of it, people are actually climbing it.
Yeah, I don't think the iPad's getting
About 4 or 5 miles away, you can see the tremendous contortions the rocks have gone through. This area is called Fisher Towers. That tower there is actually Fisher Tower. In 1980s, General Motors filmed a commercial here. They parked a car up on top there with a helicopter. It's very pretty here in the afternoon. Now in the morning in the shade, it's much duller. Well, that's Monument Valley in the distance. And this is the spot where in the movie Forrest Gump stopped running after many years. Filmed right here. Well, this is now Monument Valley. These two rocks are the famous left mitten and right mitten. Many Western movies were filmed here. Most famous one probably was John Ford's Stagecoach, I think in the late 1940s. The 17-mile road down below that I'll be taking next. Well, now I'm in about 3-4 miles into the park. This place ahead is called John Ford's Point. He was the director of the movie Stagecoach. I said before, it was 1948. It was actually 1938. John Wayne was in it. So right around here is where it was filmed. Farther up the road, about 10 miles up to Colorado, there's an area of different colored rock. Much more buff colored. This is now taken in Gooseneck State Park in Utah. The San Juan River goes through this park here in a series of twists and turns. Eventually meets the Colorado River downstream, maybe 50 or 60 miles or so. Now about to climb this cliff here about 1,000 feet high with a gravel road. Goes up along there. Up there. And keeps switching back and forth up to the top. The yellow-orange color on that rock there is a lichen. It's a combination of an algae and a fungus. These rocks here are called fins. This is where the arches have formed from. They were formed when there was uplift of this area here, billions of years ago. And eventually, over time, wind and water poke holes inside of them to become arches. About halfway up now. Way off in a distance there. You can see a car and people. Getting pretty close to the top now. That's where the road goes around a corner there. Down there is where it came from. This is a view of those fins now from the side of them. Way off in the distance there, about 15 miles away, is I-70. And here, finally, at the end of the trail, is Double Arch. That's the first arch on the bottom. And above it, the second. That's the view right through the arch, the lower arch. Here's the wonderful little town of Cisco. I'm away from the river now. It's a ghost town. Not a mining ghost town, but ghost town nevertheless. All abandoned buildings. I'm now inside Colorado National Monument, which is in Colorado, very western side of Colorado, near Grand Junction. I haven't been here since 1969. And there's Independence Rock. Doesn't look like much happened in 46 years. Some unusual formations in this canyon. This is called Upper Ute Canyon. Ute is the name of the Indian who lived here back thousands of years ago. Very beautiful canyon here. More yellowish rocks in this canyon. This continues another third of a mile past Double O Arch to this big rock here that's called Dark Angel. It's not an arch, just a freestanding monolith. Now pretty well close up to it. Probably about 70, 80 feet tall. These are two big rocks that fell off of Double O Arch or nearby many years ago. I'm on my way back now. Had to walk over this fin. Drops off about 30 feet on the left side. 100 feet on the right side. Really narrow. This arch is called Navajo Arch. There's very strange formations here created by the weathering of water. At the base of this big fin. These are pinyon pines in foreground. Behind it's the Utah juniper. There's your old branch or root of juniper. This arch is called Partition Arch. That was another mildly exciting part of the climb. Up there is very likely a former arch. It collapsed many years ago. This area is called Fiery Furnace because late afternoon when the sun is a lower angle, it gets quite reddish looking. This is now outside of Arches a few miles, right along the Colorado River, along the highway. The rock was straight up, about 300 or 400 feet. Here too, right along Colorado River, these are two dinosaur tracks of a meat-eating dinosaur. Track is maybe 10 to 11 inches wide. It's on vertical now, but it used to be laying flat on a river bottom. Just about 20 feet or so above the dinosaur tracks here is some Indian petroglyphs. And there's the Colorado River below. This one here is odd. It's a two-headed sheep. I'm walking in about a quarter mile to a half mile off the river to see a couple of arches. There's a beautiful canyon here.
He's coming?
No.
This is farther up the canyon. It's a big arch over there.
You're just take Kaylee too, Maya?
She can't do it either.
Oh, she can't either?
No.
Another arch over there. Here's another view farther up. I'm finally right up close to it. Quite a magnificent arch. Here's a view of a woman in front of it to give you an idea how big it is. Now directly underneath it.
I was here in December, a train pulled through.
Over there are two more arches in the process of forming. Here's the view from behind it, looking into the sun. This is what's called the window section. There are a lot of arches here. Off in the distance there, we'll be coming close to it later. It's a double arch. The biggest arches in the park. Another arch there. This is now the big amphitheater with the huge double arches. And there it is. Here's a closer view now from about maybe 300 feet away. See the people in there to get an idea how big it is. It's 112 feet high, 144 feet wide. Now here it is from practically underneath it. Directly underneath it now. It's getting close to sunset now, so the colors are really getting very pretty. It's about 20 minutes to sunset, so it's getting prettier all the time. This is another part of the window section. There's my shadow. Off in the distance there is an arch forming. A few thousand years it'll be an arch. Like that one.
Maybe it's because it's barely stopped with face medicine.
Well, the sun is just about to set, so the colors are at their peak. little bitty arch over there.